OLQs. There are 15 OLQs which are there. Okay. So what has happened is that they had earlier about 85 qualities, and there were many of them which were interlinked or they were overlapping and things like that. They were able to actually, come to a consensus that these 15 qualities are the ones which would be required by a defense officer. And this is not in our country only. These are the qualities which are being checked in most of the countries in the army. It is actually a German system which we have adopted, okay? And
Right.
British Army, Pakistan Army, Sri Lankan Army, all these armies are following the same system. Bangladesh Army is following the same. Our Coast Guard is following the same system. As a matter of fact, there is a boy who wrote to one of my friends that he thanked him for getting through Pakistan Army because he heard him speak on SSB, and he followed his SSB thing and he cleared his SSB, and he wrote to him on the social media thanking him that because of you I have qualified in the SSB in Pakistan. So that is how much of similarity we have in SSBs. Okay.
Hello, viewers. Today, I am back with another session on SSB, and we are glad to have Major General A.K. Shukla sir with us today. Vishishta Seva Medal, and he commanded his battalion in Operation Vijay. Also was there in Operation Rhino, Operation Orchid, and Operation Raksha. He has been president of 22 SSB and commandant of SSB Center Bhopal. He was awarded with Vishish Seva Medal and Western Army Commander's Commendation Card. Sir, it was actually in my bucket list to have a session with you, and I can say this now. Yeah, I have achieved my opportunity, what I was looking for. Thanks for all your time, sir, and I welcome you on the Career Type channel. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind, and I'm really honored to be on your channel. And I think what I enjoy the most is to give back to the youth what I have gained from the defense forces. And it'll be my pleasure to cover the areas which you wish me to cover in the best of my ability. Thank you for having me here.
I have some set of questions for you, sir, and we all need your guidance in the same. And
Yeah.
like the first question says, like, what does SSB want from a candidate, and like how does SSB analyze these things in these candidates, sir?
All right. This is a very, very common question and a
Yes.
doubt in minds of the aspirants. And there are, before I actually go on to answering this, what I would like all the candidates to bear in mind that there is not even a single candidate who gets not recommended because he does not know about SSB. On a contrary, today the problem is that they are overloaded with information.
Yes.
There is any amount of videos, any amount of counseling, any amount of mentors who are there available to you, and they all have their own point of view. Few of them are the authentic assessors and mentors, and a large number of them are not authentic. They haven't been to the SSB also. But I'm afraid the aspirants are not able to, decipher or make out as to who's the one whom they should go to. And because there is no formal feedback from the SSB as to why he was rejected or selected in either which way,
Yes.
the candidates, they try and do their own introspection, and at times they are right, but quite a few number of times they are not able to understand as to what has happened. And that gives rise to certain myths and wrong perceptions about the SSB.
Exactly.
And they come back and then they try to, tell the other aspirants as to what has happened. So what happens is it is not authentic. So as a result of it, all aspirants perceive it in their own way, and they try to, analyze it in their own way, dissect it in their own way, and therefore it gives rise to a lot of doubts. As a matter of fact, they get confused.
Yes.
And that is the reason which I find that large number of candidates are not able to do well in the SSB. So first thing I would like to advise all the candidates and aspirants is that there is one size does not fit all. So please do not go by an answer or a rejection or a selection of a candidate because it is tailor made to his personality. I mean, the answer which he's given may be the best of the answer, but it was suitable. It won't suit you if you give the same answer because it does not match with your personality. So
Yes.
therefore, don't try and copy or imitate anybody. That's the first thing I want to say. Now, what are we looking for? Now I come to that question because I've told you as to what is the problem.
Yeah.
Firstly, SSB is a test of personality.
Hmm.
It is not a test actually. It is just a personality assessment process which is there. We take about 5 days to do it because it has to be done in a 360 degrees. We would like to see what you think. Does it matches with what you act, and does it matches with what you speak? You know, there are the three different methods which we follow in the SSB.
Yeah.
The what we are looking at is a very normal average candidate. Let me put it this way. Let me dispel that fear. It is we are looking for a candidate who has been an obedient child, a responsible child, a obedient student, responsible son, a very responsible brother, or a very responsible sister, whichever way you want to put it, and a normal law abiding person who understands as to what is expected out of him or her in a normal day to day routine. For example, I'll just give you an example. There is a family of 4 or 5. Father is an only working member, and the family is not doing too well. If a child has finished his BTech and is still waiting to get absorbed somewhere,
Yeah.
and he's just sitting at home and he's not doing anything for a year or 2 years, and he comes to the SSB and says, "Sorry, sir, my dad told me that you just concentrate on your academics and things like that and competitive exams and things like that, but you don't have to work and I'm there to work." I think every Indian father will tell the son the same thing. But
Yes.
it is his responsibility to understand the situation, that how is the financial situation. Secondly, why would he sit at home? Even if he's studying, nobody can study 24 hours. So I'm sure he could have taken a part-time job, tuitions, or he could have got involved in upgrading his skills by doing something else. He has to do something constructive. He cannot just sit down. And
Yes.
on top of that, the answer they give is that I appeared in CDSE or I appeared in FCAT, but I could not clear. Now that speaks very low of a person. And you and I can understand this. So what
Yes.
I'm trying to say is that we are looking at a person who is responsible. He knows that my parents are not doing well, so let me start working, and along with that, let me study and also do well in their competition. And I'm telling you, these people will do well also. Secondly, what I'm saying is the person who's well-rounded, personality. That means he's not a bookworm. He likes to play. He's got interpersonal skills. He's developed it because he interacts with people. And he has an attitude which is, optimistic attitude. I wouldn't call it positive or negative. Our brains have been wired for negativity. That's a problem. And
Yes.
Indians think negative first and then the positive. The positive is very rarely thought.
Exactly.
If a child goes out and he gets late for coming back home, parents never say that he must have got involved in some good work or something. They will always be scared. He possibly he's had some mishap, either accident ho gaya, ya kuch ho gaya. That is how we are engineered. But
Yes.
we don't want to look at that. Small example again. There was a building in Bombay which was being constructed, a multi-story building, and there was a person who was observing this building being made. And he found that the laborers, they used to bring the children there because they didn't have any crutches or something. So the children used to play all over that, wherever the sand and other building material was kept, they used to play there. And they used to play the train game. They used to hold each other and they used to make a circle and play. So he noticed for a couple of days that there was one youngest or the smallest of the boy who used to be always a guard. He used to be the last bogey. He never became the engine or anything in between. So he was quite amused by this. So he went to the child and he asked him that, "I've noticed you play every day, but you never become the engine. Don't you wish to become an engine sometime, or change your place?" So this boy says, "I definitely want to. I would like to. But the point is that I do not have a shirt. As you notice, I'm wearing a shirt. My parents cannot buy me a shirt. So the choice is that either I can stay outside and not play the game because somebody has to hold me by the shirt to make that chain. No?
Yes, sir.
So the choice is either I don't play or I enjoy the game with them and become the last bogey. You see, it. This is what we are looking at. That's all. I'm in a simple way. I'm trying to tell you. And one should not get worried about the OLQs and other things. If you're, these are the qualities which are supposed to be had by every individual, and there are parallels to it. We have named it separately, but there are parallels to it. Okay, like OLQ may communication. We say power of communication or power of expression. It's communication skills outside.
Yes.
Okay, we say social adaptability and social effectiveness. One of the factors. It is interpersonal skills outside. It's the same. Everywhere is the same. It is just that we have named it. So just not let get and factor one, that is your effective intelligence, organizing ability, and reasoning ability. These are all creative thinking and creative things, which is there in outside world also.
Yes.
If one was to actually read the definition of creative thinking says this, that do not be dependent upon the pre or the already given out solutions. You have to not bank yourself on orthodox solution, but find a solution which is new and it can meet the circumstances. Exactly what we are saying in reasoning ability. We are saying ability to grasp a problem, understand it, and ability to solve it with the given or hidden resources when faced in a tight corner. Exactly the same, actually. So I want to dispel this fear. Don't get over worried about the OLQ. You don't have to show them. If you have them, the assessors are competent enough to understand and take them.
Yes.
That is what I want to tell. So SSB is looking for this, and we are also looking for a candidate who's adaptable and who's trainable. That means he's not a rigid kind of a guy. He doesn't have biases. He doesn't have complexes that I'm best and I'm better. I don't need to learn anything. We are looking for a clay which is moldable. That is what I would like to say. Okay. I like to tell everybody what are the reasons for a low selection rate in the SSB. The low selection rate in the SSB is basically because people or the aspirants who are coming there, one, I've already told you that they are confused.
Yeah.
All right. That is one thing. They come with all kind of, sort of myths with them. So that is one.
Yeah.
Second thing is that they lack confidence. They are not sure themselves that they will clear it or not. Lack of confidence is a very major factor which brings down their performance drastically. If you're not confident, if I'm not, suppose I'm coming to the SSB,
Yeah.
if I'm not confident, how can I convince the assessors that please take me as an officer? Simple as that. One
Yeah.
has to develop that confidence. And second thing is lack of knowledge. Okay, they do not. Their art of reading books, newspapers, or anything is slowly going down. We are getting too dependent on Google and things like that. So we are losing the art of reading. And I think I would recommend to all candidates who are aspiring to become defense officers that they must develop this art of reading and retaining what they've read so that they can, develop themselves, because this is going to play a major role in answering the psych question and your GTO question, and of course the IO. So they have to, that is what I have found. Third is lack of communication skills. I think the art of speaking is dying down. A lot of them have got hesitation in speaking. They think that if they cannot speak in good English, that means they are not good. I think
Yes,
that is
exactly.
not the truth. That is not the truth. You see, communication skills, or when I speak, my ability to speak is not just because my English is good. No, that is a very minimum part of it.
Yeah.
That is a minuscule portion of it. Unless I'm clear in my head, how can I convey?
Yes.
I hope you understand the difference.
Exactly.
I have to have a clarity in my mind. If I'm clear, even if my words are not as good, but I'll be able to still communicate to you what I want you to do. Isn't it?
Yes.
So you need not have a Shakespearean English or a Shashi Tharoor's English. No, we are not looking at that. As long as you can convey, and that convey, what happens is because your mind is cluttered, you are not able to clearly understand and think. Therefore, you are not able to convey.
Yes.
And add on, if you are nervous or you are not confident, it further retards your thinking power. I hope you understand retard. It
Yes.
just brings it down further. And that is the reason why they are not able to communicate. The third thing I would like to say is they lack interpersonal skills because they're not playing outdoor games, they're not meeting people. Today we are in a virtual world.
Yes.
I mean, you can talk on hours and hours and you can give messages on WhatsApp or Insta. You can be there for 24 hours. But if you ask me, or if you ask these people to go out and meet people, probably they would be shy or they would be scared of going and meeting people. You
Yes.
see, while we are traveling in the bus, metro, trains, aircraft, the moment we sit down, what we do is we take out our laptop or a mobile and we get engrossed deeply into it. We don't even know who's traveling with you. You
Yeah.
lost out on something which is most important. That is the human vibes. You know, we all radiate. We are all energy, actually, if you ask me.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we sit together or when we are close by, there is an energy which takes flow. You know, there's an energy which you throw out and the energy which he throws out, and you absorb that energy. And that's how we learn. Even if there's some negativity, you learn in that negativity. For example, you're standing in a queue for reserving your ticket in the train, and there's a person standing behind you on the mobile and he's speaking so loudly. He's irritating everyone. But you're learning that you
Yes.
should not do that. So
Exactly.
what I'm trying to say is that art of learning is going off because you're engrossed in this, and therefore understanding people, having empathy for people, having compassion for people is dying away. And we in defense forces are very, very careful that we want people who are team people, who are the people who can understand people. And in civil today, the same thing is being given importance. It is called as emotional quotient, which is known as empathy. All right, the
Empathy.
ability to
Yeah.
understand somebody, put yourself in their shoe, understand from his point of view, and then look for a solution for that. So this is another cause for the failure or not getting recommended. And the last one I would say, while there are many more, but I'm talking only major, is the physical fitness. You know, physical fitness is very, very important for army or any in your life, I would say. I've seen boys 17, 18 years coming for the NDA and they are about 20 kgs overweight. I mean, that is not acceptable any which way. Why I'm saying, firstly, his body his body shamed. So he's himself not feeling confident. He's he's feeling is because of his body, he himself loses confidence. Secondly, while doing obstacles or GTO tasks, he gets injured, which is not correct. Thirdly, he cannot do it. And fourthly, he gets so tired that he cannot pay attention to the other tests which are going on and his performance declines in that also. So I would rather say that these are the things which you have to develop before you come there. So physical fitness is one very because physical fitness also improves your mental fitness.
Mental fitness.
You know, the
Yes.
happy hormones are developed. Happy hormones comes when you do physical exercise. You can try it anytime. You
Yeah.
become if your mood is little low, if you go for a walk and you go, you feel fresh, you feel better, you feel happy.
Yeah.
It's a scientific fact. I'm not saying anything out of the blue, isn't it?
Yes.
So these are the things which I feel are the reasons why the candidates are not doing well in the SSB. Now let's take the PIQ. Okay.
Yeah.
Now PIQ is one of the most important document as far as you rightly said. It's the Janam Kundi. It's a very important document of
Yes.
SSB, and one I would recommend candidates to practice filling it in their own hand prior to going for the SSB at least twice or thrice, so that they are not only accurate but they fill it up neatly. All right, and they remember what they've written in that.
Yes.
Now, what is this PIQ? The full form is Personal Information Questionnaire, which we call it in a short form PIQ.
Yeah.
Now, there is basically these are the details which go to the psych and to the IO before a candidate comes. So, therefore, it is because psych will never see the candidate. He'll see the PIQ, he or she, and he or she will see her dossier. That is the test which the answers were given. As far as IO is concerned, before he actually sees the candidate, he has the PIQ with him and he goes through it very, very carefully. Okay? He draws his own deductions, which are not final, and they are not, a matured IO does not form any impression. But having said that, we are all humans, Once you read something or see something, we are bound, our minds have been engineered like that we will form some kind of impression. So we get some idea. What we are looking at is rural, urban, outdoor person, indoor person, academically good, academically weak, coming from a weak social family or coming from a rich family. We are looking at that, whether he's taken part in NCC, what are his hobbies and games and things like that, and how many times he's appeared for the SSB, which that doesn't matter at all, but it is there on the PI.
Yes.
But that is not taken into cognizance at all by the assessors. We are not actually concerned about that part of it. Because if that was the case, then nobody on a repeat performance can get through SSB. I think that is clear. Okay. Now, how to fill PIQ? In PIQ, we have deliberately kept it a little informative, and there are a lot of confusion areas in that. Because we want to see whether the candidate has been able to grasp what is being asked from it. It also tells me the personality of a candidate when you see that form. Whether he has filled it firstly, whether he has filled it accurately. For example, in the first column only, it is, his name is there, all right? And then where is he coming from? There are three addresses which we ask for. Like, which is the longest place where you stayed, address of that. Where is the present place where you're staying? And also, which is your permanent home address. These are the three addresses. Many candidates are not, they don't fill it up very, very accurately. Okay. So that is one thing. They should fill up. They should, before going only, they should know that. And we also ask whether it is a district headquarter or what is the population of that. I would recommend that please go to the Google and see the population of that area. Also see what census are you looking at. If it is the census of 10 years back, normal brain or normal logic says that please add at least about 20% to it, because that much population would have increased in that 10 years, isn't it? So that is what we are looking at. They should fill it up properly and accurately. That is it. Then we are looking at the details of his parents. We ask whether your parents are alive or they are not. In case they are not, at what age did you lose them? So that should be filled clearly. Then we are asking what is the education of your parents and what do they do and what is their income per month. We are not asking per year. Many candidates write per year, or they don't write only, or they are not aware of it, So I would recommend that please, before going, please find out from your dad as to what, or mother, what is their income, and fill it up accurately. That would be a good idea to do it, okay? Then is your information about your own academic record, right from class 10th onwards, we ask.
Yes.
So there is, where did you study? It's a good idea to write, people write DAV school. Where? I don't know. DAV schools are all over the world.
Yes, sir.
So please write DAV Delhi or Hisar or something. It'll be a good idea so that I know you studied in Hisar, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And then it is not CGPA we are looking at. We have written it is the division and the percentage. So you have to write the degree and the division and percentage and not CGPA. Please convert the CGPA into percentage and write that. There is a formula which everybody knows you must write. So that should be written very accurately, and you should write your percentages absolutely what you got. It should be recorded correctly. And if you're pursuing something which you are in the first year, you must write that I'm pursuing BSc or BA or in any other MSc for a postgraduate. You should write that I'm pursuing that, because otherwise, if there's a gap in education, you're bound to be asked by the IO, what have you been doing since then? So it's better to cover it in that so that he knows that you are doing MSc. All right. So that is to be recorded. And after that, you have to record how many siblings do you have, brother or sister. In that, there's again a confusion. The way we have written it is elder brother / sister, younger brother / People don't score out what is not relevant and they just write. So it becomes very difficult for the IO to know whether it's a brother or a sister, younger or older. It should be very clearly written.
Yes.
Then is your height, weight, age. Okay, so that should be recorded. Many candidates do not know their height in meters or feet. They write in different way, and when you ask them to convert it, they don't know. So it should be written accurately and find out the conversion also before you do it. After that, of course, it is the NCC, whether you've taken part in NCC or any other, that NSS or something like that. You have to write that, how many years and all. And then is your games and other activities. So please write the game one has been playing. It should be recorded well. And what level you played, you have to mention that also. And then other things are your hobbies and interests. So I'll tell you now, there are a lot of questions on this, that what hobby should I write?
Yeah, sir.
Is it mandatory?
I also want to tell you that, sir, Quora is actually flooded with these type of questions, like what should we write in the hobby section, like, because we are bound to ask questions by the IU on that. So yeah.
You see, the point is what you should write is only what you do. I mean, my answer is very simple to you. If you're not doing something, and suppose you have 6 months, okay, if you're not doing, suppose you have 6 months to go for the SSB, you want to develop a hobby, please do. But then be prepared to be probed on that hobby. For example, a candidate writes that my hobby is coin collection. It can be. So he should be prepared to answer questions like, you may ask him, okay, tell me, when did the coin system come into this world?
Yes.
Who actually invented a coin system? Which were the earlier coins? What were they made of? Because if you're saying it is your interest, then you are expected to know something about it. Basic setting. Or tell me, okay, which is the oldest coin? Which is the oldest coin which you have? Or something interesting fact of the coin. Which are the currency in various countries? Because you're collecting coins of other countries also. So you should know what is the currency of other. So, it is not just for the sake of writing your hobby. If you're having it, please do go ahead and write it. But if you do not, then leave it blank. It's better. Because otherwise you will be questioned and you will be found wanting. So this question is asked by, and then they also ask what is the difference between hobbies and interests. This is also a question asked. There is a very very thin line between interest and hobby. Hobby could be like collecting coins. Interest could be watching cricket matches. That is my interest, isn't it? So that is what I can only explain in a layman's term. And after that, you have to write the attempts of SSB which you made. So please, one should be clear about when did he go and which SSB he goes. Even if he doesn't remember the date accurately, as long as he can write the month is fair enough with us. So that should be filled. Now the points which are very important to write and what is to be seen. Firstly is the clean, the legible handwriting. I wouldn't say neat. If you can have neat, fine, but it should be legible. All right. Second is no overcuttings. If they made a mistake, just score out with one line and rewrite it. Don't try to scribble it out completely. It gives a bad impression.
Yes.
Third is accuracy of information. You should write only what is a fact. If you write anything which is not a fact, be prepared to be questioned by the IO, and he can make out that what you've written is not true. And if he gets to know this, your chances become that much less of getting selected. Because lies is not accepted in the defense forces. So this is what is PIQ form. Okay. My recommendation is please download the blank form. They're all in the net and fill up in your hand, because there you will not be allowed to fill in a computer any which way. So please fill it up accurately and remember whatever you've written. Suppose you've written your percentage in 10 was 95.6%. So when the IO asks you what was your percentage in 10th, it should match with that.
Yes.
I hope that is understood. So this is the relevance and importance of PIQ form. I'll give a brief introduction onto the OLQs. Basically, there are 15 OLQs which are there. Okay, 15. Now these OLQs actually, if you go into the historical perspective, there were very many. Okay, when we started, these were the OLQs which were asked it was on interactive sessions by the psychologists and defense officers of various countries. where they were asked which are the qualities which you would like to have in an officer. It has developed over a lot of, it's almost century old, more than that actually, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So what has happened is that they had earlier about 85 qualities, but then what it was done is it is very difficult to actually, see 85 qualities. And there were many of them which were interlinked or they were overlapping and things like that. So therefore they started pruning it, editing it, and slowly, they were able to actually, come to a consensus that these 15 qualities are the ones which would be required by a defense officer. And this is not in our country only. These are the qualities which are being checked in most of the countries in the army. It is not a, this system is not only exclusive to our country. It is actually a German system which we have adopted, okay? And British Army, Pakistan Army, Sri Lankan Army, all these armies are following the same system. Bangladesh Army is following the same. Our Coast Guard is following the same system. As a matter of fact, there is a boy who wrote to one of my friends that he thanked him for getting through Pakistan Army because he heard him speak on SSB and he followed his SSB thing and he cleared his SSB and he wrote to him on the social media thanking him that because of you I have qualified in the SSB in Pakistan. So that is how much of similarity we have in SSBs. Okay. Now these 15 qualities are basically again for the sake of administration. We have clubbed it under 4 different categories, which are known as factors. We call it factors. It is factor 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right.
Yes.
Now, the factor 1 is related to, there are 4 qualities in this. These 4 qualities are related to your head. It is basically brain. It is what you think, how you think, what is your attitude, all those things come in that. Okay. And it's a major factor. There's no doubt about it, because this actually speaks about a person. It very clearly brings out what kind of a person he is. Okay. So, what are the qualities in this? It is basically it is effective intelligence. Okay. It is different than normal intelligence, because normal intelligence you can have an IQ test and you can see what is your IQ. But effective intelligence is something which we have to see by different methods and putting you under different conditions and see how you react to it. And it is actually a manifestation of the entire personality of a person. How he's been brought up, what were the kind of environment he was brought up in, how have the parents treated him or her, how has his friends been, how have the friends treated him, how has been the situation, which place does he come? That also makes a lot of impact on your factor 1. And then, of course, friend circle. What kind of friends is that? Because all this has an impact on your subconscious mind. And when you're put under pressure, you will react exactly what is there in your subconscious. It's very difficult to react any other way. So this is the factor 1, which has got effective intelligence, it has got organizing ability, reasoning ability, and the 4th is power of expression. All right. This is the 4 qualities which have been clubbed together. And why they've been clubbed is, as I mentioned to you earlier, that communication skill has a lot to do with the clarity of mind.
Yes, sir.
And therefore, we have put power of expression with your organizing ability and reasoning ability and effective intelligence. So that's what I told you in the beginning also, isn't it?
Yeah.
So these are the 4 qualities. Now, this is one of the most important factor. Not that others are not, but this is something which is, it'll take a lot of time to change in case one has to change. So we would, then mostly in case a candidate is found weak in this, the chances are that he is not likely to be recommended. All right. Because it is very difficult to change somebody's basic criterion. It does. I'm not saying modern tools and techniques are there now to change it, and people have been changing it. It's not that. But by and large, you will find that this quality, if it is weak, it impacts many other factors. The factor 3 also gets impacted.
Yes, sir.
That is your self-confidence, your speed of decision, your ability to influence group. All this gets totally impacted by the factor 1. So that is why it is. It is not that only factor 1 would be weak. It has been observed and experienced that a candidate who has weak factor 1 generally has a very weak factor 3 also. All right.
Yes, sir.
So now the factor two is about your social adaptability. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now this is very important. Social, effectiveness or adaptability, whatever it is, social adjustment as they call it, isn't it? So social adjustment is basically what we are looking at: social adaptability, cooperation, and it is sense of responsibility. Now I like to cover this a little bit more because this is something which is a little confusing to the
Yes.
candidates. Okay, adaptability is rather easy. It is basically your nature or your personality, your attitude, and your sort of nature to adjust to changing circumstances or changing places or changing people.
Mm.
Okay, a person who is good at it would generally be very confident, and he would be more optimistic. You'll see he'll not
Yes.
crib, he'll not complain. The other day I was talking to one of the aspirants. He's going for his SSB to Bangalore. He's from Delhi. He's never been to Bangalore. So I just asked him. I said, "Are you happy about going to Bangalore?" So he says, "No, sir, I'm not happy." I said, "Why?" So it's too far. I told him, "Mevlai, this is first thing I would like you to change in your mind. What you should say is, or what you should convince your mind is, that what a wonderful opportunity I'm getting. Otherwise, I would have
Exactly.
never been to Bangalore.
Yes.
Now, on the government expenses, I'm going to go to Bangalore and I'm going to enjoy there. Even if I don't get through, nobody is stopping me from going and visiting places in Bangalore. It's a nice city.
Yes, sir.
It's a nice city. So you will get to know or see a nice new city. You will be traveling, you'll be enjoying. So I said, please convince your mind that you will enjoy it. Otherwise, if you go with this mindset, I don't think so you'll be able to do it. I'm just giving you an example.
Yes, sir.
Adaptive. Okay, so that is very important to. It is the people, it is subordinates, it's seniors, how you adapt to it. That is what is important. Because in defense services, you may be asked to move in a very, very short time to a place which you would have never dreamt of, isn't it? So
Yes.
if you start thinking in your mind that I'm being punished or I think I'm done with or something, I don't think so you'll perform it. So that is
Yeah,
what it is.
exactly.
Yeah. The second thing is cooperation. Now, that is again interpersonal skills, as I say. Cooperation is a very, very important aspect. And SSB is all about cooperation. It is not a competition. Again, I want to draw this thing loud and clear to all aspirants. SSB is not a competition amongst you. We have no vacancies in the sense we don't have any restrictions. As a commandant of the Bhopal, the thing, nobody ever told me that you will not select 30 out of 30 in case you found them fit. We would. Unfortunately, we never get. On the other hand, nobody will question me why none of the 30 was selected. So I hope that is understood. So
Yes,
we
sir.
have no vacancy. Even if the course, if they say the technical entry, suppose there's an entry I'm just taking, if they had 100 vacancies, I am not bound by that 100 vacancies. If I find 150 good, I'll select them. And if I find only 20 good, I'll select only 20. So it's not a competition. That's what I want to draw that because people go there thinking that it's a competition, and therefore they go wrong. They're going 180 degrees into a different direction. If you cooperate, if you know that it is not a competition, you will now go with a mindset that I have to cooperate. Because what we are looking at is in a group, how well do you cooperate with a group to come to a group solution? Because we are looking at a group solution.
Yes, sir.
Are you an effective and a vitalizing candidate or a member of the group? Are you the one who's the catalyst in solving the problem in a group? Are you the one who's really taking that initiative and solving the problem? Or are you, if you can't take the initiative, are you the one who's really willingly cooperating with the ideas of others and not sulking that he's given a good idea, now let me see it doesn't work?
Yes, sir.
There are candidates who do this. They think that his idea, why should I work? And they go wrong entirely. And the whole group gets washed off. If any group who comes with an individualistic approach to the SSB, chances are they're not going to go through.
Yes.
When I went to the SSB, we were 9 in my group, GTO group. We were 5 who made it from this 9. So, and there are certain groups where all 40 go, none of them is selected. So what I'm trying to say is cooperation is very essential in defense services, and this is the ability to carry the team with you. That is what I can say. Now, sense of responsibility is a very, very important this thing. It is something in layman's term. I'll just explain to you. Understanding what is expected out of me and doing it, whether I'm being supervised or not. All right. So let's give an example of that. Suppose you're going in the evening time, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, when the traffic is thin and you're stopped at the traffic light because it's a red signal. But then you suddenly realize that there's no traffic. And even if it is red signal for me, how does it matter? And you just jump the signal and go. Now that is something against sense of responsibility.
Yes.
Sense of responsibility is being a very, very sensible and a responsible citizen, son, daughter, which I told you in the beginning.
Yes.
So we are looking at that. You're going to the school, aapka kaam hai padhna, school se aana. So please do that. Why do you want to get involved in certain other stupid things, and then lose out on your marks, also lose out on anything? Sense of responsibility is important because you would be working independently in very small detachments. You may not be supervised. And if you have the tendency to take shortcuts at that time, it'll not augur well for the organization. So that's it. Now let's come to the next one. It is social effectiveness now. It's called social effectiveness. Yeah. And this has got 5 qualities. What are the 5 qualities? It is now the self-confidence, and it has got speed of decision, ability to influence the group, and liveliness. I think that is what it has got. And of course, initiative. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what I want to tell you is that this is, if you see from top, I think this is from the factor 1, it comes out, your self-confidence is related to your brain again, how you feel. If you got knowledge, if you are good, then you will have self-confidence also. And you will have, if your power of expression is good, you may have an ability to influence the group also. It may affect,
Exactly.
because if you can speak well, you can influence it. Something like we have Modi, he speaks well, so he can influence.
Yes, sir.
Then Irani, what is that? Smriti Irani, when she speaks, she speaks. Then that Moitra, I don't know if you heard the
I've heard
CPM,
about it.
she speaks so well.
Yes.
She can influence you, isn't it? So these are the speakers. So that is the thing. So ability to influence the group is very, very important, because as leaders, we are supposed to, be able to influence them. And under adverse conditions, there is much more to ability to influence, but then the group. But I will leave it at this, that it is basically related to that. Then let's talk about the speed of decision. Now, speed of decision is an amalgamation of knowledge, confidence, power of expression. That is it. If you have knowledge, if you have experience, you will be able to take a decision very well, quickly, isn't it? And it is essential in defense forces. Speed of decision is the most essential part. You see, Vardhaman, that Abhinandan Vardhaman.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard about him? That now
Yeah,
group
sir.
captain, wing commander,
Yes, sir.
who dropped the F-16 of Pakistan.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, at that speeds which they fly, a pilot is required to take a decision in millisecond. If it goes wrong, and if it takes if there's a delay, it can be disastrous. So that is the kind of speed of decision we are looking at.
Yes, sir.
And if you don't take it, if you're not able to take a decision in right time, it can cause a grave, problem for the country. So that is why we have to have this ability. As far as the liveliness is concerned, this must be understood. People think that being cheerful is liveliness. You must have heard this, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That being, so it is not that. That is only a portion of it. What actually is liveliness is that your ability to stay buoyant. That is what the definition says, I think. That ability to stay buoyant when met with an adverse situation also. That means, just in a simple example, suppose one fails in SSB or fails in an exam. there are two choices with you. Either you don't improve at all and you keep on sulking and you keep on getting into a depression. The other is that you sit down and say, okay, it has happened. I think it was a mistake. What happened, what I did was not correct. I may have made some mistakes. So now let me first identify what are the weaknesses and mistakes I've made, and I want to improve upon it. And you start improving upon it, and then come out with flying colors. That is what is lively.
Liveliness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you're getting, that means you're staying buoyant. That means you're not getting worried about a failure. Failures is a part of life. It is. You meet any successful person. If he tells you that he has never met with a success, failure, he's telling you a lie. It cannot be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there are some people when they get unsuccessful, oh Indian Hindi hero ke jaise, they start drinking and then they say that it's the end of the world. No,
Yeah.
that is not what we are looking at. We are not looking at that. A lot of candidates come to me. They must have spoken to you also. Ki, sir, my percentage in 10th was very less, in 12th was very less. What should I do? You see, the point is not that percentage in 12th is less. When you see the college record, it is further less.
Hmm.
So you ask them, ki, then okay, 12th mein ek baar galti ho gayi, then why didn't you pick up your strings and work hard and do well? No. So that is not what we want.
Yes.
We are looking at a person that अगर 12th में उसके नंबर कम आए हैं, so be it. In college he's done it and competitive exam first go में pass किया. That means he is understood. He is able to understand himself. He's got he's got awareness. Self awareness is very high, and he can identify his weaknesses and then work and develop. That's fine. That's
Exactly.
absolutely fine. That is what is liveliness. Okay. So these are the second quality which was there is of heart, that is adaptability, which I told you. This is effectiveness is basically guts. It is basically amalgamation of brain and your heart. And the last one is of the limbs, which is actually the dynamic, which is known as determination, and then is your courage and stamina. Now, determination, I think it's very well understood. Determination means your ability to pursue a thing, being absolutely persistent. Don't give up in between. The capability or ability to say not to die ever, not to say I'll give up. If
Yeah.
you give up, then that is the thing. So that can be seen from your PIQ, from your way. As far as courage is concerned, it's of course got two aspects. One is the moral courage, and other is the physical courage.
Physical
Okay.
courage.
Yeah, physical courage is the one which you see, when you're fighting wars and all. That's a physical courage, but that has also got an element of mental courage. Mental courage is also important, and moral courage is, of course, Manik Shah has given a very good example of courage. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. He was called by Indira Gandhi when she was the prime minister, somewhere in April of '71. And he was told that she was very furious with him. There was a
Yeah,
small
sir. I've heard about that.
you heard about it, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
sir.
she was told to go in. He was asked to say, he was told by Mrs. Indira Gandhi that you have to go in now, and he refused. He says,
Yes.
no, if you want me to go in, I will go in, but I assure you defeat.
Yes, sir.
He gave reasons. So after that, the cabinet meeting was closed, and he was a junior most, so he had to stay until the end. And Indira Gandhi, being the senior most, was there. And when he was about to leave, she stopped him. She says, "Sam," he said that on what grounds would you like me to put in my uh, resignation, mental or health?
Yeah,
All
sir.
right. But that is the moral courage. Had he not said that, we would have not had 71 victory.
Exactly.
That is moral courage. So that is the kind of things which we are talking, and it can be developed over a period of time. It requires a little strong, ethos, upbringing. All these things are in this. Now let's come to the stamina. Again, it's got two parts. It has got mental stamina and the physical stamina.
Physical
You
stamina.
see, when we do our commandos, every infantry officer is supposed to do a commando any which way. We do 40 kilometers with a complete load of almost about 30 kgs on our back.
Yes,
It is grueling. It is grueling. We have to supposed to do it in 6 hours. It is not that you're doing it over any period of time. You have to do within 6 hours. I think that is the time. We get tired. There is no two ways about it. We also get tired. There are blisters on our feet and things like that. But Mentally, we have been taught to be strong. So what? We have to do it. That is how it is. So both these things are important. So these are the qualities which we have got for the officers, which we are looking at in the SSB, and we are not looking as that you should have in the sense that the quantum should be almost say 9 out of 10. No, as long as you have a reasonable amount of qualities in this, we are okay with it because our training and our ethos are going to develop it further. That is what we are looking at.
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you have any question on this, you can ask me now on this.
No, sir.
Anything
I
you want me
think
to clarify?
we have covered every bit of OLQs also, and sir, you have
Yeah.
already told us with examples, and that was really great on your part, sir.
So I'll tell all the aspirants first thing which I would like to assure them and give them a belief is that SSB is one of the most transparent and one of the most honest selection process which you can go through. Second thing which they should always keep in mind is that they should go with an open mind and in a happy frame of mind. They should never go under tension or under any kind of a stress because that is something which is going to really, really retard the performance. So you should go with a very, very open mind and you should go with the aim in the thing that I'm going to experience something new. This is 5 days experience on the government expense and I would love to enjoy it and I'm going to enjoy it while I will give in my 100%. If I do not get selected, so be it. I'll then come back and prepare and go. But it is not that they should go with the mindset that I have to get selected because that has added pressure on them. It really adds the pressure on. So I don't want them to go with that. The thing. Now, this is a few tips which I have given with my own experience to people. Now, what I would like to tell them is how to prepare for it. Okay. Firstly, the day you decide that you wish to join the defense services, your preparation must start from that day. There is no procrastination in this. You cannot say that I'll start when my returns come or when I clear my returns or when my SSB call comes or something. No, you're grossly wrong if you do that. You see, that is what I'm saying. It's a personality thing. So personalities have to be, polished, or if you are not having all those qualities, if you need to develop, or if you want to even refine them, sometimes you have no idea what it is. So you have them, but you need to bring it out more forcefully. So you need to, inculcate the way, and you have to think a little. Everybody is not equal. All five
Yes,
fingers are not equal. Somebody are very quick to understand what is required. Some candidates would be little, but they also have the ability. It is just that they require a little bit of more work or something like that. Their memory is not as sharp as others are. They can recollect very quickly. So therefore, I would recommend that everybody starts the preparation from that day itself. He or she has to decide whether it is going to be a UPSC entry or a straight direct entry, like TGC and all, without any UPSC, exam. So whichever way they decide, if they have to write the exam, then their preparation for the written should start. And I would again say that the best thing is that please become very systematic and meticulous in your planning. You should know how to plan to write. It is not, again, I'm telling you, competitive exam is not something which is, you don't have to study like a donkey. I don't think so. There's a difference between a donkey and a horse.
yes,
You
sir.
see, donkey के ऊपर सामान लोड करते रहो, वो चलता रहेगा बेचारा, वो जब तक गिर नहीं जाता वो करता रहेगा. He doesn't know. You try that with a horse, he's not going to allow you to do that. But
Yes,
he'll take you to the place where you require at the right time, isn't it?
yes,
So, smart studies is what is required for the competitive exam. And every candidate should know first, should sit down and write down the strengths and weaknesses which he has, because that is going to bring him or give him a clear roadmap as to what he should do to make sure that he clears the returns. If he doesn't make a roadmap, I'm afraid he's going nowhere. Dekho, if I want from today, if I'm sitting in Delhi and if I want to go to Bangalore, unless I know I have to go to Bangalore, I will never reach there, isn't it?
yes,
And then I have to know what are the ways of reaching there, and which is the shortest way, which is the longest way, which are the places I can halt. So all this planning happens only once. I know where I have to go. So similarly, and what are the means I've got? How much money do I have? Can I take a aircraft? Can I take road? Or I have to hitchhike? Or I have to take public transport? I mean, all these decisions will come only if I know what I have with me, isn't it?
Yes.
Similarly, the candidate should know his strengths and weaknesses. Is his general awareness good? Is his GK good? Is his mathematics good? What is the strong point? What is the weak point? And if that weak point is there, then how much time he has to devote more on it, he will only be able to find out if he knows what is it. So that is the first thing they should do. And then get out old set of question papers, model question papers, see what is their present standard. That again will give them their strength and weaknesses. That will help them to give their strength. And then after that, start preparing. Make a roadmap. If they need to take coaching, they should go for written coaching. If they don't, they can on their own. Fair enough. But it has to be a continuous, persistent preparation. It cannot be a knee-jerk reaction. कि आज मैं सोच रहा हूँ करूँ. Similarly for SSB. For SSB, I've already told you. Reading, acquiring knowledge, physical fitness, interpersonal skills, communication skills. You have to develop them. Once you start developing them, you will certainly find that you are in a better frame of mind to go and appear in the attend or face the SSB. That is what I can say. And SSB is not difficult. It is not. It has just been made difficult by what I told you, information overload. Please be very, very choosy. I would recommend aspirants to be very choosy as to what they want from the mentors. Don't go by what others have got from the mentors. Everybody needs something else. So first you should be clear what you want and then go to the mentor. Okay, if you wish to. Otherwise, SSB doesn't want any. SSB has not been designed for candidates coming prepared. No, it is not. Actually, I'm telling you. We are looking at spontaneity. We look at reactions which are absolutely original and spontaneous reactions of yours. If you come with preconceived ideas, if you write preconceived stories, then I'm afraid chances of your success become that much low. That is how it is.
Sir, thanks for the session, sir. Actually, it was very inspiring, and thanks again for all your time. And despite such a hectic schedule, you gave us your precious time, and we are fortunate enough that we got to hear from your experiences and everything. And I also hope that you had great experiences being here with us on Career Tribe, sir.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to coming again. And I wish all the aspirants all the very best. I hope they learn and they get something new in what I have spoken today. Thank you very much for getting me here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks again, sir. Thanks again. And Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind.